I know you're sitting on the fence. I need to see the teams, and I need to see tactically how both teams are setting up. Madrid have leaned towards like a diamond in midfield, Joe, two up front at various stages this season, predominantly because to get Benzema and Ronaldo in the team, both want to play as central strikers, so you play them as a pair. The diamond behind that allows them to get the likes of Isco, Asensio, very clever operators, again, in a central area just in behind, and obviously got Kroos and Modric behind that. So that's an obvious way for them to go in terms to complement the players that they have, but that's so dangerous against Liverpool. You're opening yourself up down the sides of the pitch, which is where Liverpool are at their strongest. Salah, Mane, and they overlap on full-backs as well. So I think Madrid need to play Liverpool a huge amount of respect at the weekend, and they need to fill those wide areas. They need to play 5 in midfield, that same midfield 3, but they need to drop 2 players in on the flanks and play Ronaldo by himself down the front. Now you can argue Bale, Asensio, Vasquez, Isco down the flanks, but they've got to double up against Liverpool. They can't give Liverpool those wide areas to go and get those kind of combinations and get those overloads in wide areas, because I think Liverpool will kill them and will overrun them. So that's the key for me tactically. And Zidane, to me, I give him credit. I think he's very bright. I like the changes he makes in personnel and tactically during the big games. He doesn't panic. Even against Bayern Munich, when they actually started with the diamond second leg, he went to that blanket 5 midfield for the latter parts of the game, and actually I thought that's what actually won them the game. And I think they have to do that. As good as Madrid are, they can't be arrogant enough to think it doesn't matter, we play our game, we're good enough for any team. Do you know what? This Liverpool team is the exception because of the qualities which they have and how they can hurt you, particularly counter-attack. So Madrid need to recognise that and really fill those wide areas with 2 wide men.
What happens when they do that? Do Liverpool have the players to be able to really hurt them through the middle?
No, I don't think they have. I think they're a little bit short with no Oxlade-Chamberlain and no fully fit Adam Lallana. If Liverpool can't get down through down the sides and they come on the inside and they look to play through the middle like you were talking about, Henderson gets his head up and he's looking centrally and he's looking at James Milner and Wijnaldum and saying, can I pop the ball into your feet? Can you play with your back to goal under pressure? Little clever 1-2s around the corner, drop your shoulder and beat your man. No, Wijnaldum's like that third, arriving late into the box, third man run. Milner, we know what he is, as excellent as he is, that's not his game. So you're right, I think Liverpool are limited. If Madrid do sit a little bit deeper and say to Liverpool, where we're going to block up those wide areas, we're going to show you on the inside what have you got in the middle. They haven't actually got an awful lot, Liverpool. I think that's one of the small weaknesses in their team, without the likes of Lallana and even Oxlade-Chamberlain.
It's pretty
quite dynamic.
Weakness. If you can't attack a team through the middle and hurt them through the middle,
of course they can. Look, Miller can get on the ball, he can play a forward pass, and of course Wijnaldum can, but it's not easy when it's congested and they got people snapping around your feet. You got your back to goal. I mean, Kroos can do it, Modric can certainly do it. That's where the advantage Madrid have in those central areas, but certainly out wide, that's where Liverpool have to play their football. Even if Madrid go with the 5 midfield, still get out to Salah and Alexander-Arnold, let them play 2v2 in those wide areas, because that's where the Madrid weakness is, down their left-hand side, Marcelo and Ramos.
Madrid are going to be the greatest team that we've seen since the Bayern Munich team in the 70s or the Ajax team in the 70s. Nobody since has done 3 in a row. Are they that good?
Oh, they're up there. Yeah, I think they are up there. It's not the team I don't look at the team that I have to say that and think, no weakness there.
Yeah.
I can't. Because there is. Because I look at that team and I think, oh my, I see Marcelo flying forward, not running back. I see Ramos being a little bit rash, getting done in behind, lack of pace on the recovery.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at that thinking that there's the weakness. I'm looking at Salah on that right-hand side, Trent Alexander, Firmino getting over that side of the pitch, thinking if Liverpool get enough ball here, they can really hurt them. Now, I'd contrast that to, I always go back to the AC Milan team in the 80s. I look at that team in and out possession of football.
No
and
weakness.
I'm struggling.
Yeah.
I'm really struggling. That back four, Costa Curta, Baresi, Maldini, central field, Gullit, Van Basten up the pitch, Ancelotti, all those type of players. I'm struggling. Different generation, different time, but I'm really struggling. I can't see it. This Madrid team, those weaknesses have been there the last couple of years, and it's credit to Zidane and the players that have actually gone and won back-to-back Champions League despite those deficiencies. But they're such a possession-based team and dominant.
But we are talking about like one of the greatest teams ever in the history of world football. Like, you know, so obviously the first Madrid team comes and wins 5, 6 of the first 7, is it? So teams have done 3. The Bayern team and the Ajax team did 3, right? Isn't that right?
Yeah, you could be right. I couldn't. Yeah.
I think in the 70s, there's a 6-year period where there's 2 3 in a row, and then there's that 2 in a row that AC Milan team did, And then nobody else has done it because you can't do 2 in a row in the Champions League era is the thought of it. The other team are too strong.
But then another indicators, Jerry, you look at their league form this year. I mean, what was it last time? I looked 16 points behind Barcelona. That doesn't quite equate. This is the best team we've ever seen. Yet they're going to finish 16 points in third place behind Atletico Madrid.
In a way, though,
the domestic competition, you know.
In a way, that almost makes the achievement better. It's like they're going to win, if they win this, 3 Champions Leagues while Barcelona have Leo Messi in their team. Like, that's an amazing thing to happen. No,
it is. Yeah, it is. And it's such an experienced team. When the big games come along, they just don't panic. The game management is absolutely fantastic. They understand what's required at any given moment during the course of the game. They can almost control the rhythm of the game. Modric and Kroos in particular in that central area of the pitch. They can go after, they can hunt, they don't press. They certainly don't press as well as Liverpool haven't done for the last couple of years. They're a little bit more immobile now, not as much energy in that Madrid team. It's changed. You've got some young players will come through over the next couple of years, but they don't press you as much as certainly that Barcelona team were there with the height under Guardiola. So you can actually get ball. Teams have had good possession of the ball against this Madrid team over the past couple of years. And yes, they've been dominant, but there have been times the last couple of years. I remember the Napoli game last year, Bayern Munich last year and this year could easily have turned them over there. Fine margins in terms of whether Madrid could have gone out or stayed in, but they did stay in, and it's not coincidence because they don't panic. Manager makes the right substitutions at the right time, and big players step up when it really matters, Ronaldo in particular.
If we had told you back before Christmas during that Spurs game that this Real Madrid team was going to make the Champions League final and potentially win it, like, would you have laughed at me? Like, or was it a situation where it was early in the season and it was like Spurs exposed a few timely weaknesses? Yeah,
you're right. Yeah, I certainly wouldn't have laughed at you. And invariably, it's the Champions League. It's about building momentum and hitting form at the right time. And how many times we've seen a team not struggle necessarily in the group stages, but not really peak. But generally going into the second half of the season, all of a sudden they find that little bit of form, whether it's kind of a physical thing or just like a mental application, just that focus sets in. Right, here we go, business end of the season. And they seem to be capable of doing that, just switching that on button when it really matters in the latter stages and turning up.